World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sportsbook in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and BV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
The Big Ten is up and filled with lots of Christmas gift savings at Jelco Outdoors. Hey Dude shoes for men, women, and children. Buy one pair, get the second pair 50% off. Masio clothing by Paramount and Remote, 50 to 75% off original price. Select hang-on ladder and climbing tree stands, 20% off. And casual clothing, save up to 50% off. Don't miss the Big Tent sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local, shop Jelco Outdoors.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Trouble in mind, I'm blue. But I won't be blue away. For the sun is gonna shine and my back go one of these days.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Aaron Torres on the horn here. Our friend from Fox Sports Radio, Aaron Torres Sports Podcast and Aaron Torres Sports Media. AT, you are known. We've talked to you quite often in the spring about college basketball transfers. You got the website for that, collegebasketballtransfers.com.
Yeah.
The football transfer board is, I don't know how you're keeping up with all of this. You got a whole list, 25 best players in college football in the transfer portal. There's over 1,000 of them now in there. So how do you keep up with all of this, man? I've given up on trying to keep up on all the transfers.
Well, it's funny. One, we do have our team-specific pages, and when Arkansas got the offensive line commit, I can't even remember the kid's name from Florida. I've told our guys, if you guys get some sort of news on your team, send it over to me. And so when Arkansas got the commit the other day, I said I didn't even know this kid was in the portal. I'll be honest, I don't have very much information on him, but that's how fast it's moving, Phil. You just do the best you can. The one thing I will say, though, Phil, I will say this, and I know last week we talked about NIL collectives and all that. I know the volume of guys in the portal is a lot and feels like a lot, but I don't know that the portal stuff has gone down the way that I thought it would, from the perspective that I think we all wondered, would star players, good players on good teams, would they enter the portal just to kind of see what is out there, what they could leverage? Could they get more from their school, whatever? I haven't really seen much of that. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that are obviously looking for a spot. Malik Hornsby is obviously one that comes to mind. I've seen some group of 5 players for sure. And then I've seen a lot of back end of the bench guys. Everyone's talking about the volume that Arkansas has lost, that A&M has lost, that Alabama has lost. And I was on in Tuscaloosa yesterday, and I asked Ryan Fowler, I said, so how many of these guys are guys that, like, Nick Saban really, when he got that message, he was really upset? And Ryan said 1, maybe 2. Now, you guys can speak to me about Arkansas, but I know it's very much the same at A&M, where I don't think they've lost a guy that they're really upset to this point to lose. So it feels like a lot, but it really is kind of honestly a bunch of schools doing what Deion Sanders said he was going to do when he got there. Deion basically said, some of you guys aren't good enough to play here. I'm bringing my own luggage. It's Louis. And that's basically what Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher and I'm guessing Sam Pittman have said, even if they didn't say it maybe as eloquently as Deion did a few days ago.
Well, mine is knockoff Swiss Army, so I don't think I've got the same luggage as Deion has. And it's different. It's different program to program. I think at Alabama, they've got a totally different makeup of talent that is sitting behind the starters. And in some cases, like the starters are looking at those guys behind them like, I'm going to get pushed in a way that maybe I'm not comfortable with, and I'm going to look somewhere else. I think that's, Drew Sanders comes over from Alabama because they weren't using him the way that he wanted to be used. Arkansas did exactly that. For the Razorbacks, man, I don't think there were any surprises of who went into the portal except for maybe Keytron Jackson as far as players that might have been major portions of the team moving forward. But then there's like Mississippi State, and this isn't necessarily like about Dylan Johnson and, him putting Leach on blast and that, but that was one of their better running backs, and they lost their top receiver, Ra Thomas. And there is this feeling. I remember reading when John Cohen took the athletics director job at Auburn from Mississippi State that part of the idea might have been that Mississippi State doesn't quite have all the right money in NIL, and that Auburn did, and maybe that's one of the reasons why Mississippi State is losing the top receiver and losing one of their best running backs, or maybe I'm just reading into it a little bit too much.
Well, I don't think you read enough into Dylan Johnson. He left because Mike Leach thinks he's soft, so that was why he left apparently. But let me ask you guys, it has become kind of an interesting talking point. I really had no problem with the statement. It was clear that he didn't like the way that Mike Leach, maybe he feels like, talked to him. But I saw a lot of people say that you're either telling other teams that people think you're soft or that basically you're not a team player or, you're a little volatile. Did you guys have I don't know if issue's the right word, but what'd you guys make of that? Because I mostly thought it was funny, but I saw people that I like and respect saying, that probably wasn't the smartest tactical decision for that kid to say what he said in his going away message.
Yeah, he's young, and I think the first time you hear what people say about you, because the people say a lot of things behind closed doors, but then they actually get it, and you're like, oh, people don't know how to act. It's just a sign of maturity. When I look at this portal and some of the stuff you just said, is it just now a wild, wild west business? It's not really about these kids and wanting to go to a school. It's just all about their brand, and it's just a business once the time they step on campus.
Yeah, no, I hate to say it, and I think, these are things I think we're all hearing to a degree, is that more and more, kids are basically saying, I'm not going to the school I want to, because I'm going to the school that's going to take care of me financially. And it's interesting, right? And I think it's going to be an interesting couple of years, and I do believe at some point we're going to figure out some way to make it so it's not the way that it is right now.
Do you think the bottom falls out, like it crashes before we figure it out, or do you think we get to it before we have this big blow up?
I think the coaches are going to pressure the conference commissioners, and listen, Matt, it's a fascinating question on the future of college football and college athletics as a whole, because you hear these conversations about could the power conferences or maybe all of FBS football break away from the rest of college sports. Do we get to a day, and this is something that, 3-4 years ago I thought we would never see, and now I do think we see it at some point, are the college athletes essentially employees of the school where you can sign them to employment contracts. And so I just, I don't know what that future holds, but it does feel like we're kind of in this middle ground where, okay, we've known it's not amateurism for a while, and the NCAA tried to kind of put some limitations on some of this stuff, the transfers and the NIL, realized that they really couldn't. So to answer your question, Matt, I don't know what comes next, but I do think, you're going to have voices, maybe not Nick Saban because he's kind of getting up there in age, but whatever that next wave is, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, whoever, that basically we can't keep doing this, man. You think about December now, guys, and I know you know this, but just to reiterate, you're flying around the country. First of all, first of all, what you're really doing is you're re-recruiting your entire roster, that the guys that you want, the, whatever, 45 to 60 to 65 guys that you actually want to keep. So you got to make sure they're happy. Then you're flying across the country to make sure the guys that you have committed are actually going to sign on December, whatever it is, 21st this year. Then you have to also be not only monitoring the portal, but coming up with meetings and, Zooms, and then you got to get these kids to campus. And it's impossiable to do. And by the way, you're supposed to be preparing for a postseason game at some point too. And so,
getting a new D coordinator. Yeah.
And get a new, and filling out your coaching staff, right? And so it's bananas right now. And, I think some of this is going to get spread out. One thing, guys, that I think should happen, I haven't heard anybody say that it will. I think we should have like a real early signing period, like before the high school season, because to me, I think then you have 80% of your high school class done. You can mostly focus December on the portal. This is just what I think should happen. But Matt, I to answer your question, and I know I've kind of bounced all around, I just don't think we can keep doing this where you have 3, 4, 5 major things: re-recruiting your roster, recruiting a high school class of 25, recruiting the transfer portal that, to your guys' point, now has over 1,000 names in it. You just, even these staffs that have 40, 50, 60 people, whatever it is, it's just not enough. And I think we need to figure out some way to kind of, I don't know, space it out or whatever, but we can't keep going on like this.
It's interesting. It's like the coaches did do this to themselves in a way, because the Coaches Association requested transfer windows, and they got a window at the end of the regular season, just like they asked for. And now, I mean, it's a big job, but it's just too much going on. I agree. I think eventually you got to move that early signing period earlier. It just opens up a lot more room. Hey, AT, we got to get into basketball with Arkansas.
Sure.
And the injury to Trevin Brazile, which man, it sucks for him because he was really coming on. I mean,
there's not another player like him on our roster. There hasn't been. I mean, it does suck.
But it really. But
how about I take it a step further? I don't know if there's another player like him in college basketball.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. Is there another player like him in college basketball? Because he just seems so unique.
No, I think he's totally unique, and it's ironic, Phil, because I did, when it happened, when the news came out, the first thought is you feel terrible for Trevin Brazile. I mean, that goes without saying. I think we all understand that. But I remember, coming on this show in April and May, Phil, and you guys kept asking me, are we taking too many guys? Why do we have, should we be filling all 13 scholarships? Something you and I, Phil, have talked about in the past. There's a lot of schools that really only take 10, maybe 11 scholarship players at this point and leave scholarships open because they feel like they can't keep the kids happy anyway, and there's just going to be discord and discomfort in the locker room. And so I remember talking to you about this in the Springfield, and I kept coming back to, you just never know what's going to happen. And little injuries like what Nick Smith is dealing with are going to happen. And unfortunately, there are going to be major things like this. And so, my big takeaway is exactly what Matt just said. There's no player like him in college basketball. There's certainly nobody like him on Arkansas's roster. But this is also, you hate to say this because, you're talking about a young man's life in Trevin Brazile, but this is why coaches say next man up. And this is why Eric Musselman fills his roster and he brings in a bunch of guys. I think he has very much a pro mentality of you're going to come here, you're compete, and if you're good enough, you're going to play. And so there's kids now, whether it is Jalen Graham, whether it is, the Mitchell twins getting a little bit more playing time individually. Other guys are going to get opportunities because of this. And I think Arkansas is uniquely one of the few teams that is built to withstand an injury like this. Now, you never want it to happen, and you're a better team with Trevin Brazile than without him. But I just go back to all of those conversations we had in the summer, Phil, of, is taking 13 scholarships the right move? Are we taking too many players? How do all the pieces fit? Well, unfortunately, it's for moments like this.
Well, you put a collection of talent together, and knowing full well that you may end up losing one of your guys, and you got to have some depth. And look, I mean, part of the conversation we had the last couple of days is how do you replace the production from Trevin Brazile? Who gets more, the minutes and all of that? All I know, and I think you alluded to it a moment ago, like, this is the right coach to figure this out, because he had to do it in the G League, in the D League, in the CBA, and the NBA, where your roster changes on a day-by-day basis, so that means your philosophy about how you utilize these guys changes too. Some college coaches can be rigid about this. Muss is not rigid about this. It might take a little time, but this is the right coach to figure this out.
I'm glad also we have Graham, because Walsh, I love Walsh, but he's a true freshman, and it's hard to ask these. I know basketball's different, but I'm glad we have another veteran in Graham that has SEC, that has Power 5 experience, and so I think that helps as well.
Well, no, and I to go back to Phil's point, this is something I'm sure I've told this story on this show. I'm sure Coach Muss has told the story, but I remember talking to Coach Muss about this back at his Nevada days, where this was when he first started using transfers, but he tells a story, and he might have told it to the Arkansas folks. I just know he's told it to me personally, but when he was in either the CBA or the D League, now the G League. He tells a story of they're playing for a championship. It's like a best of 3 or best of 5. And literally at a plane changeover, he lost his 3 best players to the NBA, where basically they fly out, they got their full team, they land in wherever to go play they're waiting for the next flight. And he finds out that his 3 best players are getting called up to the NBA or whatever, maybe Europe, I don't know. And so, yes, Phil, this is what he's built to do. And by the way, this is something even in season when there isn't injuries that we have seen him adjust on the fly. Where, last year, I don't remember all the details, but I remember Trey Wade taking on a much bigger role, and some guys that we thought were going to play a bigger role taking on a much smaller role. And so, he's always tinkering. And listen, if Trevin Brazile was healthy, it goes without saying that he would be part of that core group. But I also think, like you said, Phil, it's going to take time. But he always tinkers. I'm not saying the team is better with him than without him, but I do agree. He's one of the few guys I think that is really built to withstand something like this where, what you said, certain coaches are stubborn. And what I said a minute ago, there's a lot of coaches that just aren't recruiting the number of players because they're too afraid that they're going to lose guys or there's going to be discontent in the locker room if I keep 13 guys on my roster. So I think that's one of the things that he's done well that's maybe gone a little bit under the radar is figured out a way to keep those guys that haven't played in previous years engaged. Now, there's no guarantee that it's going to happen this year, but, the last couple of years, we know the deal. It's gotten down to a 6, 7, 8-man rotation come tournament time, and he's been able to figure out a way to keep those back end of the bench guys engaged and involved. He's going to have to do it here, and he's going to have to reshuffle things because obviously we know, Trevin Brazile isn't coming back. Hey, one quick question for you guys. Do I have half a second to ask you guys a question?
Please.
Shoot.
My only thought with that was I don't know if this has become a topic of conversation yet, and I haven't been able to get any confirmation from any of my NBA people. Do we think that Trevin Brazile put enough on tape where maybe he's done at Arkansas? Has that thought crossed anybody's mind yet? It was just something I was kind of thinking about. Again, you worry about the kid's health, his future, whatever, but go ahead, guys.
I would put, if we're going to talk basketball in a little bit, like Kristaps Porzingis is who I would put Brazile. Like if we're just trying to compare him to somebody, and we all know him play, I think, and this is just me, he needs another year. NBA is so different on potential, but if I'm Brazile, I stay at Arkansas and get the best treatment, the best rehab, and get all the first team reps and work on your game and get better. And he will be a first round pick. Who cares if it takes 9 more months? Like that. That's 100%. Kristaps Porzingis, man, he was so much better than Brazil even thought he was when he got in the league and he couldn't play. You know what I mean? Like, it took him a little while. He's just too soft. If you and that doesn't mean he can't be there. He's just still a baby. He just needs another year at least.
AT, we are right up against the break, so we got to end it here. And I appreciate you, man.
No.
That is a conversation where we have probably like for the next 8 months.
Right.
I would think. Thank you, Aaron.
I'll circle back next week and the 10 weeks after. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good. Sounds good. Hey, brought to you by the Fence Man. 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. Should be your only call anytime you need new gates or fence repairs at your house. They do the small residential repairs along with the big commercial jobs. Wood, privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial, residential chain link, custom wrought iron fencing. And the Fence Man features 18 months same as cash financing. Again, that's 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. And they are not going to be afraid of penalty kicks in this quarterfinal. Croatia scored with maybe 5 minutes left. 1-1. My gosh, drama in Qatar. And more halftime after this.
This is Chuck Barrett for Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. For most people, buying a home is the largest investment they will ever make. And I can tell you from experience, you want a real estate professional handling your transaction. And there's nobody better than Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company at getting you from contract to closing. I've used them, and I can say that firsthand. They've got offices in Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, and Fort Smith. Or you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstar battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hell repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Massard Road, is a locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith that wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been a part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling is totally stocked and has a large selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is always ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling today at 5500 Massard Road, and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You see it all around you. Good loving gone bad. And usually it's too late when you realize what you had. And my mind goes back to a girl I met 12 years ago who told me just hold on loosely, but don't let it go.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
So there's a Division III school in Iowa, Grinnell College, set a record for a college at least for an NCAA college basketball game for the most attempted threes in a game. Happened yesterday. Does anybody want to venture a guess on the number of threes that they attempted? You're wrong, because I don't think you're going to get this right. They attempted 111 three-pointers yesterday. Did not even attempt a two-point shot. And they made 40 of them. It's pretty good.
It's great.
A final score of 124-67. 111 three-pointers eclipse the previous record, which was Troy University in 1992. They attempted 109 and scored 258 points. This is some of this stuff.
It's a video game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like a video game. So the most threes attempted in a game this year in Division I men's basketball was 53 by Virginia Military Institute. And the most ever attempted in a game for Arkansas, 54. Way back in the Pat Bradley days, Pat attempted 24 threes.
He had that green light, didn't he?
In that game against North Texas. It was December the 30th, 1998. Hogs won that game 100-77. Yeah, Pat Bradley attempted 24 threes, made 10 of them, 32 points. Kareem Reed attempted 13 threes. But honestly, though, it's like 111 threes in a 40-point game. I love the averages of this kind of stuff. 40-minute game. They attempted almost 3 3-point shots per minute.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it. That's pretty ridiculous. I wonder. They got NIL deals there in Division III. They can do whatever they want, or is this just Division? Do you have NIL deals in Division II?
I'm going to imagine that they're a little smaller, but sure.
Could you get a long distance sprint? With your 3-point. Like that could be something. I don't know. Is that too? That's old school.
I'm sure that there's a dive watering hole in Grinnell, Iowa, that's ready to have a shot contest for 3-point shooters.
There you go.
Huh?
Yeah.
See, I'm a great marketer. Yeah. Come up with some really good ideas. The only problem is most of those ideas suck. 877-377-6963. I don't know how many rebounds. I didn't even see the box score. I just see the story on ESPN, and I see 111 threes, and that's all I care about with this. But apparently this is a school that the story continues. They use a unique offensive system. No kidding. No kidding.
Like the high school team that kicks onside kicks every time. Like as soon as they take a foot across half court, it's just they're slinging it.
Well, what the story writes about is that takes the ideas of Paul Webb at Loyola Marymount. I mean, remember they took a lot of threes, but they also ran the floor.
It's as much as you can shoot. Yeah, shoot. The more shots you get, the more opportunities you have for it to go in.
I don't remember like the averages that those Loyola Marymount teams scored. But remember they had Bo Kimball, Hank Gathers.
It was nothing for them to put 120 in a game. Yeah. And
it was going to give up 120 in a game. Right. I think they won games like 160 to 140. I mean, I sometimes have trouble with the women's team because of how quickly they get the ball down the court after a made basket. I would need a neck brace doing one of those games.
Well, it's like I had a pitching coach tell me, and I was ninth grade, just kind of getting. Had David Watkins. He played at the University of Arkansas and coached me at Van Buren for a little bit. But the theory was when you make your pitch, and as soon as the catcher throws it back to you, you're on the bump and you're getting ready to go and pitch it again. Now they're doing it. They're like, we didn't need a shot clock. It was like, let's go. We weren't waiting around, and that's how it seems like this basketball is. As soon as we get it, let's go. Because you used to have 10 passes before you get a shot. Stuff like that. Now it's like you take the first open shot you get.
Can I get your pitching coach's number? I'd like to assign him to any one of a number of universities in the SEC that just like to take some time.
He was pretty good for the Hogs, man. It was cool, especially when you're in high school, Phil, and no matter what sport it is, but to have and we talked about this with Brewer and Dow Loggins being a part of the program and getting advice, being a 9th grader, 10th grader. You look up to guys like that, and it was pretty cool to be able to have that opportunity to be around a coach like that at a young age.
Arkansas basketball tomorrow against Oklahoma University. It is a 12 noon tip. 11:30 is the airtime here on ESPN Arkansas, and of course it's on TV too. So get over to Joe's Grilling Cantina. They'll have the game on television, just like always. Is the home of half-price apps and half-price taps during any televised Razorback game. There's a TV everywhere you look inside Joe's Grilling Cantina, so you always get a front row seat and all your favorite apps and beers that are half-price during the game. Joe's Grilling Cantina. Watch sports and enjoy yourself at 3400 South 74th in Fort Smith or right across from Harps, open Tuesday through Saturday. Wrapping up hour number 1 of halftime after a quick break.
Frank Rowe Furniture December tax-free Christmas sale. Frank Rowe Furniture carries made-in-the-USA furniture, including Catnapper, Jackson, and Best Home Furnishings, just to name a few. Frank Rowe Furniture also carries made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers, and December is the month to buy. They have slashed their prices more than ever before and no sales tax. Frank Rowe Furniture wants to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and celebrate our Savior, Jesus Christ. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house, 405 Fort Street, Farley.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
It's always the season for the outdoors. At the Tackle Box, experience the ultimate outdoor shopping experience this season. Custom-made fire pits, perfect for the backyard. Best selection of fly fishing supplies and materials. Guns on sale. Buy a gun and get a box of ammo for half price. Sporting gifts and decor, fishing supplies galore. Find the old and find the new. You never know what you'll find at the Tackle Box.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Unleash your inner detective at the 6 Foot Climb Murder Mystery Dinner. It's the ultimate murder mystery experience where you will enjoy a riveting night of conundrum and peril disguised as belly shaking, feet stomping, side-splitting laughter. Enjoy a scrumptious dinner coupled with some of the best entertainment in the Arkansas River Valley. The 6 Foot Climb is an experience you will never forget. Hosted at the Beard and Lady Inn in Chester, Arkansas. For tickets and more information, go to the6footclimb.com.
Looking for a way to feed a crowd? Think Golden Corral. Banquets, weddings, birthdays, or any sort of gathering. Golden Corral can handle all of your catering needs, from plate and serve to buffet style as well. They also offer a selection of menus and packages customized to meet the needs of the client. For your next catering event, visit their website at grocatering.com or call Mariah at 522-7958. Relax. Golden Corral has you covered.
Don't just survive the holidays. Thrive with a hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. Treat yourself this holiday season to a new hot tub to soak away the stress and the soreness that comes with the busiest time of the year. You know, it was about a year ago, we made the decision at our house to get a hot tub, and we only went with one brand, and that was a hot spring spa. And the only place we were going to buy was Burton Pools and Spas. There were a few reasons. They've sold over 8,000 spas. They know what they're doing. And Burton's has been around for 44 years. We know they'll be there to help take care of us. When it comes to sales and service, no one can match Burton Pools and Spas. And right now, the selection is great as well. Burton's has over 80 hot tubs in stock today, starting at $34.99, and payments as low as $47 a month with approved credit. Find the perfect hot tub for you and your family at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Remember when you held my hand? Say, remember when you were my man?
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Major upset. Croatia beats Brazil. Now, I don't know if I say major upset. This is just the way it went down.
It's an upset. It's Croatia's they made it to the finals and lost to France in the last World Cup. And we said the Ballon d'Or, so the better player that's won a Ballon d'Or. Now Neymar's probably still the best player. Brazil, when you look at that, Bill, every single one of their players is a 5-star. Like every single. And then Croatia have a couple 5-stars, but a lot of 4-stars. So. It's a beautiful game, man. Beautiful soccer game. A team scores in extra time. The other team scores in extra time. And then Brazil missing penalties, and Croatia had it right where and it's kind of the same formula they used, Phil, to make it to the last World Cup. I think they had 3 extra time games that go into penalties on their way to the last World Cup.
Trying to draw comparisons from one sport to another. What was the Raiders' lead yesterday? 14-3, or was it 17-3 against the Rams late in the fourth quarter? I mean, it's only one goal, but one goal is so difficult to get in a soccer match, especially in extra time in the last couple of minutes. But it feels like that's the kind of meltdown that Brazil just suffered, the same thing that happened to the Raiders yesterday, on a much bigger scale, of course, on a worldwide scale where they're done now.
They are. It was win or go home. It just the emotional waves, the drama. The atmosphere up there, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was good for Baker Mayfield. I know we brought him up earlier in the show because he got technically you got cut. He put on waiver wires and only one team picked him up, and he was able to lead him on a 98-yard touchdown to win the game in his debut game there for the Rams.
I mean, this is difficult to do. He had been signed 2 days before the game. I mean, and I know as far as the Rams are concerned, you get a not the right term to use. You got to dumb the playbook down a little bit for a brand new quarterback coming in.
You simplify it, and Phil, the thing is, once he's played that long, I don't know if it's just based on to translate it to like pitchers and what they're like. We're still running the same plays. It just might be different terminology.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the Rams, there's an interesting report. Chris Mortensen put this out, so if Mort writes it, then it's going to be true. Remember, the Rams signed Liam Cohen, who had been Kentucky's offensive coordinator, to run their offense, and they win the Super Bowl with him as the OC. And what Mortensen says is that Cohen is looking like he's going to go back to Kentucky as the offensive coordinator. 2 years in the NFL, Super Bowl ring, And now back to Kentucky, where he was previously. You know what that means? He's going to be a college head coach at some point.
Probably so. And when we had Aaron Torres on earlier, man, somebody needs to explain this transfer portal. I don't know why you'd want to jump back into it, having that success. But if that's what he wants to do, more power to him. But it seems like you know how they show that picture of Barack Obama after like 3 years being in office, how he's just aged? It seems like these guys, they just age that much in 3 years because it's just so hectic.
Gosh, I've been at halftime for almost 4.5 years. I look like I'm 78 now. We're opening the phone lines, 877-377-6963. We're right back.
Come by and see us at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Toys for Tots going on right now, giving back to those a little bit less fortunate. Is what Randall does each and every day, man. They stay connected to this community. And Billy, if somebody's looking for a new Bronco Sport, Randall Ford is Bronco Sport headquarters.
Only dealer in the area that has 6 of them ready to be put in your driveway today.
And as a matter of fact, there are more on their way. We just got confirmation. There's another transporter on their way that'll be hitting the floor with them just any day.
And these definitely need to go. Come by and buy your wife an early Christmas present. Get these out of here before my wife sees them.
You know, let me ask you this, Billy. If somebody comes by and they purchase one of them, you got a big red ribbon you can put on top of it?
100%. I'll pay for it out of my pocket.
There you go. Come by and ask for Billy?
Come by and ask for Billy.
There you go. That's my friend Billy. Come by and see us at one of the sales professionals today at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or shop us online at randallford.com.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
United Hail Pros is your one-stop shop auto body repair shop, specializing in paintless dent repair. Locally owned and operated, zero out-of-pocket with free car rental from Enterprise, with a lifetime warranty. Got hail damage? Don't delay. Call United Hail Pros yesterday. 479-309-3998. That's 479-309-3998.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon will be in the low to mid 60s. We will see clouds, showers, a chance of some storms tonight. Overnight lows will be in the upper 40s north, mid 50s south. Chance of seeing some showers, a few isolated thunderstorms on Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Follow us on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on HitThatLine.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Yes, sir. Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! On three! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, this is the second hour of halftime. That's right. Not the third. We've got another one going on after this one. Phil
First
Elson,
hour went by,
Matt
man.
Jones,
That was fun.
Matt Travis. That was pretty quick. We don't have the World Cup match to take us through the rest
Maybe
of
that's
this
what
hour.
it was.
Though.
Yeah, maybe I was on the edge of my seat.
This is our own little halftime here, really. It's our halftime on halftime.
Yeah.
Get an hour until the next one. And
what a phenomenal game.
That was. It was thrilling. I mean, honestly, I think anybody that would have watched that Croatia-Brazil match and is like, well, soccer's not exciting. Try to watch it again, and you might have maybe a little bit of a different feel to it. All right. Hour number 2 will feature Neil Adkinson from Bet Saracen because we wanted to get him on before the Argentina-Netherlands game. And you got to get his thoughts on Army-Navy. That's tomorrow. The Heisman Trophy is given out tomorrow. You know who's going to win the Heisman Trophy. When you win the Walter Camp Award, you're probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. So it's just package it up and give it to Caleb Williams. I won't be watching the ceremony. I'll be watching Arkansas versus Oklahoma, though, and that's for sure. I resisted the temptation to go to the game in Tulsa. We got a women's game on Sunday against Arkansas State, but
Will you watch the Arkansas kid in MMA? I want to ask you. So we got Arkansas's own fighting in a pay-per-view. Is it Bryce Mitchell?
I remember Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah. So that's going to be anytime. Like I told you, the last time I was into boxing was when Jermaine Taylor was into it and doing well. So anytime you got an Arkansan in these type of events, it always piques my interest, and I'm always pulling for the hometown kid.
Yeah, he's funny. What does he always scream? He says he's always going to scream Arkansas when you put a microphone in his face. And was it something about camo? He wanted camo shorts.
Under Armour camo
That's
stuff.
what it was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get his thoughts on that as well. But the phone lines are open here at 877-377-6963. Arkansas and Oklahoma tomorrow. Different teams than what matched up last year. I think it's 4 guys that played for Oklahoma that were part of last year's Oklahoma win against the Razorbacks. And as far as Arkansas is concerned, and people have pointed out about Devo Davis and Kamani Johnson were on the team last year. Kamani didn't play against them. So Devo is the only one of this Arkansas basketball team that played against OU last year. And this is not a game that tells you the way the season is going to go. Heck, last year Arkansas got blown out in a really rough second half that pissed Muss off to the point where he got ejected from the game. So and that was the beginning of things really starting to get shaky, especially defensively for the Razorbacks. December last year was something to forget for Arkansas men's basketball. But then again, I mean, you look at what happened. December stunk, and then they end up in the Elite Eight anyway. And Oklahoma was a home. They didn't even make the tournament. They did not make the NCAA tournament, even with a win of more than 20 points against one of the final 8 teams that was standing. So this isn't going to tell you what the season is going to be like at all. But everybody's got to be interested to see what the rotation looks like. Who's the first man coming off the bench? How do things change with Trevin Brazile no longer playing for Arkansas? And look, I mean, it's kind of exciting when you look at it that way. We get to see the next iteration of the men's basketball team. It's only going to be, like, Matt, this is the 3rd different iteration of Arkansas basketball for this year in like 10 games. There was the pre-Nick Smith Razorbacks. Then there was the Razorbacks that had Nick Smith and Brazile for a game and a quarter, and now whatever it looks like for now.
Devo, and that being said, how big is that to have Devo back and to have everything going there? And I think it's an opportunity, Phil, for some of these players that maybe weren't going to get as many minutes, because if Brazile was healthy, you got to say he was going to get 20, 25 minutes a game. So it's just an opportunity for some of these kids to play, and it might be different based on matchups for the rotation. But I think you could see Jordan Walsh maybe doing what Jersey Wolfenbarger did last year, if I say her name right, Wolfenbarger?
Barger.
Wolfenbarger, but she had to play out of position. Jordan Walsh might have to play the 4. I mean, while he works on his guard skills and does that, but that might be what he has to do if he wants to continue to get these minutes. And the same with Devo. I mean, Devo's a strong guard and can guard a lot of people. So
that's one of the nice things about having lengthy guards. You know, I mean, like Nick Smith is not going to have to go down and play the
he's
4.
A 2-guard, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But he's got those long arms and long legs. Anthony Black, I mean, honestly, like defensively, maybe he could.
He can switch on a 4, right? He's still a little soft, but when you see his lower body, his legs, and he actually has a little bit of weight to him. More than what some of these other, like Brazil's skin and bone. You know, Anthony Black, you could tell he probably played football in high. He just looks like he carries himself with a little more weight.
There's a ruggedness that's left from, I think, all of the forwards on this team, maybe outside of Jalen Graham. I don't know how to describe Graham. I mean, he's got size, he's got quickness, but I don't know how great of a rebounder he is or defensively he is. There's even things that Muss said yesterday about Graham. You know, Bob asked him about, you know, how do you again, it was like the conversation we had yesterday. It's replacing Brazil in the aggregate with you know, 2 or 3 players. Is it is just going to come from one? And Graham is an obvious choice because of being an all Pac-12 second teamer,
and he's 6'9", yeah,
and a real offensive ability every time he gets on the court. But Muss said he was at practice earlier than I'd seen him at practice before. So it seems like he's excited and ready to practice, which almost tells me like the way that Muss viewed him previously was this kid doesn't really care about showing up and practicing when we need him here. But now he sees the opening. It's right there, man.
Whatever it takes, that's I guess what we would say his desire, his want to. If that's what it takes to finally get it to click, because we've said this. This is his opportunity. These are his minutes to lose. If he is what he thinks he is and he thinks he can go to the next level, then, bro, if you're going to the next level, you weren't going to be playing 7 minutes a game behind you. So this is your opportunity to go up there and play, and that's you just nailed it. It's his desire, because does he want to play defense? Does he want to rebound? Does he want to do the hustle things? And I haven't seen him really want to do it all the time. He's more of a 50-50 if it's going right or whatever, and I think that's why he struggles to get minutes.
But think of like the other bigs on the team, and they're rugged. Like the Mitchell guys are rugged. Maybe Mikal a little more so, right. But Makai is rugged and runs the floor. And
if they
then
could catch, you'd be putting them at Antonio Gates level, you know, be
right.
like, hey, let's go to the NFL Combine. Yeah.
Well, and Kamani Johnson is all rugged and all energy and all grr, as I like to put it sometimes. Calvert asked about Anthony Black as a wide receiver. Because remember,
there you go.
We did the walk down the beach with Jay Billis.
Can he go play in the bowl game? Is that what we need a receiver? Can we borrow you for a little bit?
You know, the problem is that basketball plays LSU that night.
He could Dion and fly back in. You know, like yeah.
Hey, let's really do we're going to be excited about maybe seeing Quincy McAdoo go 2 ways in the Liberty Bowl. Let's really get somebody to go 2 ways. You could have done this. You could have played in a bowl game on a Wednesday afternoon and then gone to play basketball that night.
The Cotton Bowl, 3 days later, we played North Texas, and I was there because I was excited to play basketball. I was like Jalen Graham. I was the first one in the gym. It's basketball season, you know, so yeah.
It's a quick changeover.
It is a quick changeover, man. It's totally, your bones feel weird. Everything, when you go from football to basketball, it takes a couple. And that's what we talk about Nick Smith, like, we see he's probably in about game shape now. He's going to get better, but the fact that he can play 30 minutes and not have his knee hurting. But it takes you a couple weeks to get going. And same with Jalen Graham. He hasn't had that many minutes. It's going to take him a little bit to get going, and if he has that want to and desire, he could be big for us.
Wasn't it something how Smith went from just looking totally jacked up the first game back in 6 minutes and overly excitable to then – he looked pretty darn fluid. As soon as he got back on the court.
As the coaches say, the cream will rise to the top.
All right, we got some folks on hold here. Let's take the calls. We got Charlie on hold first. Hi, Charlie. You're on halftime. Good to hear from you. What's up?
What's up? I was going to tell you about my little experience last night. It went extremely well, and except for it rained, and I was soaking freaking wet. And I hope I don't get pneumonia. But other
For the
than
uninitiated,
that,
Charlie told us that he was a Santa yesterday. You didn't. You didn't do the Dan Aykroyd drunk Santa from Trading Places sticking fish in your beard,
No,
right?
well, I asked you guys about that, and I told them, I said, I'm going to drink a six-pack before I go, but, I was good. The Santa was okay, and I'm going to send Maddie. I got Maddie on Facebook. I'm going to send him a little picture of me dressed up as Santa. He'll definitely be able to tell who the Santa is, so it won't be hard. Hey, guys, I was going to ask, we're touching on this basketball team a little bit, like what y'all were talking about. My thing is, I think somebody said Jalen Graham was a similar player to. I don't think we really have nobody on this team as a similar player to Trayvon Brazile. I mean, there's no one with that size, that length. Now, the replacing part of it, I'm with you guys. I think it has to be by committee. When you're replacing someone like that, and I wouldn't call it replacing. I guess. What do you say? You're just trying to, get production out of multiple people. The thing with Graham, though, Matt, he was talking, obviously the back to the basket moves are really good. And I don't think Brazile, that was necessarily his strength. My question is this. You made a point yesterday about Jordan Walsh. If teams zone us, could they put Walsh in that corner where, Brazile was or whatever, and could he be the guy that kind of roll when they throw it up to, because they talk up. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm asking because yesterday when he was talking about that short corner, because how willing our passers are you talking about hitting that corner three? I think
Either
that's
or,
the perfect spot for Jordan Walsh. Man, that's exactly what I think. He's athletic. You don't have to run a play for him. He can catch the oop. He can jump. He's a little undersized, but when they're playing zone, you're not really man when you're getting blocked out. They start looking for somebody, and so it lets you be an athlete. And I agree with you, man. Trevor Brazile, there wasn't anything else like him, so it's going to be tough, and you're not really going to replace him. You're just going to have to kind of fill in for him.
Well, the thing with Jordan, they say he can hit that standstill three. So if he just doesn't take a lot. He hasn't gotten a lot of volume of shots up yet. Just how it's kind of worked out. I hope that he kind of figures it out offensively. He's got to stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble. That's another thing with him. He's such an aggressive defender, and he's so good at it. So I hope that he's one of the guys that can kind of, because he's probably the next closest thing we have to Trayvon. If you wanted to just think about it, he's not 6'9", but what is he, about 6'7"? He's long.
6'7"
he's super athletic.
Yeah,
there's room to grow too.
Yeah, he's a baby, man. He's going to be so much better next year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask you, Matt. I was watching the game last night. Baker with the drive down the field. Let me ask you a question. Why would that corner for the Raiders give up outside leverage in that situation, knowing the Rams have no timeout? It was a great route by Van Jefferson. Did you see it?
I did not
see
see it.
Well, I know Mayfield was like, later in the game, he was like shocked that they were playing press coverage.
It's like when we were playing LSU and Richard Smith was wide open. It was you're always shocked when you see, because you're taught from about the 8th grade on that certain rules and certain concepts that you're supposed to do, and then so when they don't do it, you're almost just as surprised as anyone.
Charlie, appreciate your phone call, man. Let's go to Alex, who's in Springdale next. Alex, thanks for the phone call. What's up?
Hey guys, how's it going today?
Great. It's a great Friday. The weekend's already started.
Absolutely. Almost there. Well, I had a couple things I want to talk about. First off, I agree with everything y'all are saying about Graham having to step up in that role. I was wondering if, maybe Barry Dunning gets maybe just a couple minutes just to see what he can do, see if he can, maybe give us a spark a little bit for, obviously, that's probably going to be a combination of a couple of guys that's going to have to take over that role for, since he did so much. Which I'm not worried about much, because one thing that he always does is he figures it out. Obviously, going back-to-back Elite Eight takes some pretty damn good coaching. But as far as that goes, I'm off of football season by now. It's kind of like Liberty Bowl's over, basketball season. Here we are. And then another thing, I just wanted to mention. I know you said Bryce Mitchell fighting Saturday. I always get super excited when Arkansas guys doing good. We also have another Arkansas guy in the UFC, T.J. Brown out of Little Rock. He's also fighting Saturday, so I think this is technically his first official UFC fight. I think he's had some lower fights, but excited to see that as well. And but I'll hang up, and you guys have a good weekend.
All right, Alex, appreciate you. Dunning's interesting. He's the one who's from Alabama, was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Alabama last year. And remember the game that Devo wasn't there for, Dunning got the start. And he was only in there for like 3 minutes. Turnover, and I think you turn it over, when you first start pretty quickly, you might get pulled. But, that'd be an interesting guy to look at potentially, Barry Dunning Jr. But, some of the other freshmen that haven't gotten as much run, Darian Ford, Joseph Pinion, I don't know if their minutes expand all that much. I just end up thinking that you end up with maybe a shorter rotation than you saw before. One more phone call, and then we'll break. Cabbage Head on hold. Hey, Cabbage Head, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Great show today. Appreciate you taking my call. 2 questions. Who was that team? Where was that team from that we played? I wish you guys would help us out. We can look it up and see where they are, but they just have letters and don't tell you where were those people from. They were a good team.
Which team? Do you mean the previous game? North
Yeah.
Carolina Greensboro, just letters, UNCG?
Yeah, yes.
We played a lot of schools that are just letters. You played SDSU, you played SJSU. Now you play UNCG.
Right. You got to look them up each time because the commentators are the guys. They forget to tell you where they're from. They just figure you should know.
Well, it's a heck of a lot easier knowing who OU is, right?
Yeah, right. You're right.
Hey, later on this month, you get UNCA. You get Asheville coming into Fayetteville. So, soup.
Another, I want you guys' opinion. What happened to Texas beating us so bad? Is it just because we didn't have bodies in the right spot, or they were that good? Or I hope we get a chance to play them again.
You will, Cabbage Head. I don't know what happened in that game. We didn't get our eyes on it. We didn't have anybody there. Not for the radio, not for television. Honestly, I don't think that game means anything right now at all. I think a lot of players got on the court. I think it was an exhibition game. I think it was October, and I don't think it doesn't matter. And I think this team is just fine. I don't know what happened in that game, but it doesn't stick in my mind too much.
I think what happened in that game is they're guys that are getting minutes. You look at Texas's, they have 4 seniors leading their team in minutes. So I think we got big boyed. I think they just bodied us up and just out muzzle because we're young. We're just still babies.
I thought it was a really good thing for Arkansas just to. If they were going to get the doors blown off of them, do it without anybody being able to see, and do it in a game that didn't count. Although because it was Texas, I think it's still in the back of some folks' mind. Hey, this should be at the forefront of your mind. You got now through December 18th to win one of 2 bicycles at hitthatline.com. We're giving away an adult bike. We're giving away a kid's bike. And it's brought to you by Champion Cycling at 5500 Massard Road in Fort Smith and online at championcycling.com. Now through December 18th. Go to hitthatline.com. Free bike link at the top of the page. Click it, leave the info, and you are entered. One winner gets a Specialized Alley road bike, and another gets a Specialized 12-inch Rip Rock kids bike. And again, brought to you by Champion Cycling in Fort Smith. We're talking with Bet Saracen's Neil Atkinson about a lot of stuff going on in sports that you might want to put a little money on right after this.
All aboard the Muss Bus.
We've got to continue to get better every day and have a level head.
Steps back, 3 over Kessler's good.
Everybody wants to compete. Everybody wants to play.
This is going to be a learning experience for a lot of our guys.
They are rushing the court at Bud Walton Arena.
We have a lot of talented players, so we know there's going to be a lot of people trying to prove that they're better than us individually and as a team.
You're not going to keep them off the floor tonight. Follow the Hogs on the hardwood all season long.
Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
No one has a bigger selection of brand new 22 Fords than Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, and never one dime over sticker price.
No, that is something that we never did. We never charged the consumer over MSRP, where all of these other dealers around us, that's exactly what they did. They charged over MSRP. We didn't do that. We still don't do it to this day. We actually have some dealer discounts that are going on right now. We also have the rebates on the vehicle, and you have your special financing. The new F150s rates are actually as low as 2.9% financing right now at 72 months and as low as 0.9% financing at 36. So come and see us.
So prices below sticker price and special financing.
A lot of the times you don't see that. You don't see the rebates and your special APR. So right now it's going on at Harry Robinson. Come down in here and see us.
Come get your test drive giveaway gift. It's all at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Hardee's new Charbroil Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroil Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
When it comes to flooring, go for the slam dunk. Quality, price, and service are what you want. So score that three-pointer with Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. They provide free same-day estimates and financing is available. Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center is your local flooring professional from flooring to countertops. Whether professional or do-it-yourself installation, score big with Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center on the corner of Wheeler and South Y, or call 289-7111. Hablamos Espanol.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my...
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
The night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression.
We enjoyed having Neil Atkinson on with us from Bet Saracen over these last few weeks. You know Bet Saracen, that's for all of you that want to put a little wager on your favorite sporting event, World Cup, NFL, college football, bowl games, NBA. You can even put money right now on who you think is going to win the World Series. Though I wouldn't necessarily recommend it since the free agent signings haven't finished yet. Remember, the Vegas odds are one thing. You got to be in Vegas to legally bet those odds because Arkansas law prevents the big national apps from operating inside our state. So if you want accurate, up-to-date sports wagering information in Arkansas, have the Bet Saracen app on your phone. Apple App Store, Google Play Store, betsaracen.com on any browser. Neil, how you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Love that song. That's a great song for an intro. I'm absolutely flattered at that, and looking forward for a big weekend. Got a lot going on this time of year. It's a fun time of year. A lot of us take time off this time of year, so we pay a little bit more attention to sports. There's more sports during the day, like the World Cup at 1:00, and maybe like when it's March Madness, there's not as productivity at work. But I'm kind of lucky. I get to look at sports betting and TV screens while I'm at work. Not everybody gets to do that, so that's part of the reason why I love this profession. So,
well, Matt and I were beside ourselves watching this Croatia.
I was going to say, did you watch that theater?
The Croatia-Brazil match. That was some theater going on. Forget about the weekend. What about Friday afternoon right here, or whatever time it is in Qatar? Because we've got another outstanding quarterfinal matchup coming up here with Argentina and the Netherlands, and of course that's on Bet Saracen as well, amongst a number of other future bets for the World Cup. What do you think of this match that we're about to watch?
This is a pretty even match. I mean, when you've got the over and under, set at 2.5 on the number of goals in the game, this is very, very interesting. I mean, of course, Argentina had that upset in the first game when we were in the early flights when Saudi Arabia beat them. But
yeah, they're the first team since Spain to lose their opening match and win their group. I think that was 2010 Spain. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. So anything could happen, especially when you get to this level, because the competition starts getting more level. If for us in U.S. sports centric, when we watch soccer, we say it's not exciting, but like I think you said earlier, when we got to extra time and to the penalty kick, I mean, that's some exciting, nail biting. You don't know what's going to happen from kick to kick under that, and it's a lot of fun. So, but anyway, betting on Argentina and Netherlands. You played the gambler, and for a shot of whiskey, he'd give you some advice. Can I give our listeners a lot of advice on betting soccer? I want to go on one thing. We talk about the draw in soccer, and the draw happens in soccer quite frequently. And when you bet the main match, you either bet in Netherlands, the draw, or Argentina. Most U.S. sporters are not used to that. The draw usually is a push, but in the main markets of soccer, it is not. But we've got something for you. When you click on the game in the app, and this is true on just about any app, not just on Bet Saracen, there's a lot more markets. And can I gear our listeners to a market called To Qualify? To Qualify is who's going to win the game and advance in the tournament. So right now, if you bet Netherlands, you'll get them plus 250, 2.5 to 1. If you do it the three-way. But if you bet the Netherlands just to win, to advance, to go forward, it's plus 135. If you bet Argentina under the qualifier,
like minus 190.
Oh, minus 170.
170, yeah,
70.
Yeah. That's tricky. That's hard to get used to, I think, for most American fans.
It really is. And if you're used to betting American football and basketball and all of that, skip the match result with the draw in there and go to the To Qualify market. And that way, if you bet on Netherlands and Netherlands wins, you're going to get paid. And if you bet on Argentina, you're going to get paid. The To Qualify market is more like the American money line market. And we want people to know what they're betting. And sometimes they don't. They think they get that draw in there, it's going to be a push. And that draw is only during 90 minutes of the original playing time. So we want people to have fun and bet, but we want them to know what they're betting. And it's really, really important that they pay attention to that, especially in the soccer market.
Did you watch that, or what was it like for the Raiders blowing that 16-3 lead? Baker Mayfield able to come back. Do y'all have a lot of in-game bets? How'd that game go?
Well, that game was very, very interesting. All of the pre-market action was on the Raiders. But during the game, we had some players, when the Raiders were up 10-0 early, fire LA +6. So that match didn't necessarily turn out good for the book, because a lot of the players in play, while they were watching that game, while that was going on, I think a lot of it was hedging of bets, but they bet that game in play, and we basically broke even on that game because of that. So that's one of the advantages of in-play game is that if you bet it pre-match and the events of the games or their circumstances or a key player goes out, last night, just that last 3.5 minutes was just absolutely nuts. But it was exciting, and it's a lot, that's what we want when we watch professional football. So that's kind of how it turned out for us. So everybody that bet it pre-match wasn't so happy, but everybody that bet it in-game did fairly well on it.
Near, there's only one college football game in Division I, FBS college football this weekend, and that's Army-Navy. What are you seeing in this football game?
Well, that game basically came out as a pick'em earlier in the week, but it has moved to Navy -2.5. But one of the interesting things in that game, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, look at the over and under on that game, 32.5. That is incredibly low for a college football game, and the under has gone 43, 9, and 1 since 2005 on games between Army, Navy, and Air Force. So 32.5, a lot of people will just scroll down and see, 32.5, they automatically bet the over. And the funny thing is, if you look at the national statistics, 58% of the people are betting the over on that game. And, 32.5, the way those games play, heck, if I was going to set on how many passes Army was going to do in that game, I might set it at 2 or 3, because they just run the ball, and those are typically lower scoring games.
Of course, later on in the evening is the Heisman Trophy, which honestly, it feels like a foregone conclusion right now, because usually you're going by some of the things that happen in the Home Depot Awards. There's right. Do you see any way that it's somebody other than Caleb Williams?
I don't, but anything is absolutely possible. But just the way this market is, there may be some value in going with Max Duggan with TCU. You're getting plus 2,000 on him. If there is an upset at the last minute of that, but the Heisman trophies, just the way the season kind of panned out, and if you look before the Tennessee-South Carolina game, Hendon Hooker was only plus 400 for the Heisman going into the South Carolina game, and now a couple of weeks later, he wasn't even invited into New York. So these things kind of play their way out in the sports press and media, and there's a lot of voting from that segment there. So this one's not that interesting as far as a betting market this year, unless there's a major upset. And at 2,000-1, hey, you could put a little on there just in case, but there's not a lot of value for the sports betting on that particular market.
I do want to ask you, big UFC 282 coming up, and we got an Arkansas's own. So usually with Jermaine Taylor's the last time I really got into boxing, and so now we got an Arkansas guy going. I will watch this, and I'm pretty sure people around the state will be doing the same thing. What do you like in that Bryce Mitchell fight, and are there any other MMA fights you like?
Well, I've been concentrating on the Bryce Mitchell fight. The reason is since we've started Bet Saracen in last May, and we've had a lot of UFC, had a lot in July, but this is the most heavily bet UFC match to date on BetSaracen.com. And Bryce Mitchell, heck, we opened it at 135.
I was going to say he's the dog, huh?
Yeah, he is a dog. He is a dog in this fight. He's currently sitting at plus 115 with Elia Topuria. Believe me, I'm from the South. I'm going to butcher these names.
Yeah.
So hey, Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, the Arkansas. We'll call him the other guy, but he's minus 135. So Bryce Mitchell is not favored. You remember, Bryce was supposed to play last week. He was supposed to fight last weekend, and his opponent went out with a training injury. So this got rescheduled. So, but go to the market under our MMA. You can bet on just about every scenario as far as what round, how many rounds it's going to be. The rounds are over 2.5. It's minus 150. Under 2.5 plus 15. So they think it's going to go there. You got the total rounds. You can bet whether or not the fight goes the distance. You can bet whether it's going to be Mitchell by decision, Mitchell by KO, TKO, DQ. There is just a huge menu of different scenarios that you can bet on that. And some of them have very, very odds if you can key in exactly when the match is going to end. And we all know MMA, you can blink and the match will change in just a moment with just the landing of one punch.
Arkansas, Oklahoma tomorrow. Does your vision of Arkansas basketball change as far as some of the, as far as this betting line is concerned because of the injury to Trevin Brazile? What does that do? Once the word came out, I mean, I know these lines usually are set just a day ahead of time, but this, right. I would imagine, like Arkansas would have been a heavier favorite with Brazile healthy, but things have changed now.
Well, if you notice, that line has actually gone down from 6.5 to 4.5. Because we were the first book anywhere we could find that was a legal book that wasn't an offshore book to put out that line, and we did it ourselves. And we put it out yesterday, a full day and a half before most of the other books did, and we put it at 6.5. The national line came out, and it went to Arkansas minus 4.5. So we went ahead and adjusted to what the national line was. We didn't have a lot of action on it because the majority of our basketball action comes in within the 2 hours before the game, and with the time of that game tomorrow, it's going to be most of that action is going to come in tomorrow. But that loss for Arkansas is going to affect them. Matter of fact, I think Arkansas went from plus 1,400 to win the national championship in NCAA to plus 2,000 when that ACL injury was announced. So yes, it will affect that, but if you're going to have a year, you're going to use that caliber of player. You don't ever want to do that, but Arkansas's depth is going to keep them in the running this year for that.
Well, it'd be a good day to have the app. I don't have it. I know a lot of people do, but man, you look at the what's going on tomorrow with the World Cup and Army, Navy, Razorback basketball. Man,
bowl game starting next week.
That England-France matchup tomorrow at 1 is going to be my favorite. I mean, yeah, it's a great day to be in front of the TV and doing the thing.
Hey, Neil, go ahead.
Well, also, don't forget, we've expanded our NCAA women's coverage. Look, under the basketball tab, look at NCAA women's. We have expanded that coverage and are offering more lines on that also, so don't forget that.
Nice. Outstanding. Well, that's good to see. All right, Neil, we appreciate you, man. We'll catch up with you next week, okay?
All right, we appreciate you. Thank you much.
Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen. And you can get it on an Apple phone. You can get it on an Android or any web browser at betsaracen.com. 877-377-6963 for a call or a text on halftime. We'll be right back.
Let's sit around the house, get high and watch a tube. And here's what happened when they decided to cut loose. They headed down to El Paso. I swear they ran into a great big hassle. Billy Joe shot a man while robbing his castle. Bobby Sue took the money and run. Go on, take the money and run.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
Hanging out with my friend Rocky here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Toys for Tots time. Bring those unwrapped new toys. Drop them off at Randall. And hey, Rocky, while they're here, they can check out that selection of pre-owned vehicles that you've got in stock.
Jimmy, you've got it, man. We just traded for a couple of these super cool-looking Jeep Gladiators. We actually upfitted one of them, did a level kit, some wheels and tires. It's a really good-looking rig. It's that sweet Baja tan color. Along with Jeep Gladiators, I mean, I've got something for everybody. 3/4 ton trucks, half-ton trucks, small cars, large SUVs. I've got a little bit of everything for every person and every budget.
Got them priced from, under $10,000 to whatever they want to spend.
The market's adjusting. We just repriced these things to leave. We're sick of looking at them. Come by and take a look.
There you go. Come by and see my buddy Rocky here, one of the sales professionals today. Hey, we're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Don't forget, no payments until after the first of the year. We can make it happen for you today. All you have to do is take time out of that busy schedule and come see us at Randall Ford.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock, or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. You may know us as the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley, but Dixie Digital is also now an Epson Platinum partner. We have multifunction models up to 100 pages per minute, desktop multifunctions, and wide format models that are surprisingly affordable, even desktop scanners that can make your documents completely searchable. For more information, give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. That's it for today. Bud Light. Crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This Rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, who's going to... Whoa, forget about what I just said here. I was about to bring something else up. I see reports from various media outlets here that Bobby Petrino is emerging as a candidate to be the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M.
What? What?
Yeah, you heard that right. Bobby Petrino emerging, this according to 24/7 Sports, as a candidate to be Jimbo Fisher's offensive coordinator. Let me go ram my head into the wall for about 5 minutes trying to digest this, the idea of the two of them on the very same sideline. Here's an aspect to this that I'm not sure if I get. I'm not sure if I see Bobby Petrino working for another coach. You know what I mean? Like, he never gave off the vibe. I know he was an offensive coordinator at previous stops, but that was a long time ago. This one's a little weird to wrap your mind around. He's already gotten back into Power 5 head coaching in Louisville. Like, is this a try to get back into another Power 5 job at some point? Again, these are just sources, rumors. Who knows if there's truth to this? I just can't picture, Matt, Jimbo Fisher, who is now apparently, I guess if you're going to bring in a guy like Petrino or anybody that's like that, you're giving up the play calling duties. I think you would have to at this point. I just don't see those two people working side by side.
I think it would be a thing where he sees him kind of maybe as his equal a little bit, and I know they're both alphas and almost, I don't know if setting their ways the right way, but I think it's one of those deals where if he brings them in, he's going to let Petrino do it his own way, kind of like how when we talk about Coach Pittman bringing in a D coordinator or how he let Barry Odom do it. I don't know what he's going to do now if you're bringing in somebody that advanced, but I don't think you have to – if you bring in Bobby Petrino in, it's really not what he's doing on the field. It's what he's doing off the field you have to worry about.
Well, you'd be going from one maroon school to another.
More talent, man. It's scary. SEC got better. I don't know if we got any better. You know, we're losing Dow Loggins. We lost our D coordinator. What's going on? You look at Auburn getting Hugh Freeze. If he goes to Texas A&M, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there getting better. We haven't been getting better this offseason.
Well, not yet, at least.
Not yet.
Not
That's
yet.
right.
Well, that's what goes on right now. I mean, what did we say yesterday? There was like 1,100 players in the portal. Maybe
3,000 last year.
Maybe
like
24 had decided where they're going. Arkansas does have one of them. They got Josh Braun, that offensive lineman from Florida, but he's the only one who's announced he's coming in so far. And at this point of the year, it's like the exits happen first.
I got you.
It's
just all new to me, I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you want it now, and it's like you see other things happening or other teams going, and you're like, well, what about us? And it'll happen in time.
We want you to get in your Ask the Guys questions for the remainder of the show. Heck, do it for the remainder of time. But we'll only answer the questions up to 2 o'clock this afternoon. Ask the Guys brought to you by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, right next to Baum Walker Stadium. Basketball season right now. Guess what? Baseball's like 9 weeks away. So get all your Razorback stuff, including all of the gifts for your favorite Razorback fan. And you might get something for yourself, too, at the same time. It's okay to shop for yourself every once in a while, even in December. If you need tailgating things, game day, man cave decorations, anything that involves the Razorbacks. It doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Local, family, alumni owned and operated. Call Robert and Matt at 479-STADIUM or just stop by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and tell them that we sent you from ESPN Arkansas. You can also go online to shoponrazorback.com. That's shop, S-H-O-P-P-E, on razorback.com. And I don't know if Jimbo offered Bobby a new motorcycle, Rod. Good question. Lots of jokes coming from that. We're right back.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Tommy Craft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
Helm is a big enough problem
problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
It's always the season for the outdoors. At the Tackle Box, experience the ultimate outdoor shopping experience this season. Custom-made fire pits, perfect for the backyard. Best selection of fly fishing supplies and materials. Guns on sale. Buy a gun and get a box of ammo for half price. Sporting gifts and decor, fishing supplies galore. Find the old and find the new. You never know what you'll find at the Tackle Box.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Ho, ho, ho! Who's your Santa, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and I'm tired of bad Secret Santa gifts. So this year, I'm everyone's not-so-secret Santa. Bring me your old ride, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value. That's a whole lot more for your trade. So this season, don't exchange gifts. Exchange your old ride for something nicer and newer from our huge selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, and you could get up to $4,000 more than it's worth. Keeping the car you have? Let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection. Half off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Plus, check out our inflation-beating Meineke vehicle service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They make great stocking stuffers. So let me be your not-so-secret Santa. And you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Massard Road, is a locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith that wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been a part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling is totally stocked and has a large selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is always ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling today at 5500 Massard Road, and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, we're going to start a halftime holiday wish list as we wrap up our second hour here on Halftime. Shoot for the moon. You know what I mean? It's like your reach, like the reach gift that we got into yesterday.
Like your Division III basketball program. We're just shooting as soon as we get over half court.
Literally shoot for the moon. 111 3-point attempts.
I still don't grasp it yet. Yeah.
I mean, are your arms sore by the end of that game?
It's like when you go bowling, like when you bowl 2 games, like, oh, I'm a little sore now. Yeah.
Well, you know the feeling is like even if go roller skating for 20 minutes, what does it feel like after you take the roller skates off? You're still on the skates.
Right.
These guys that are shooting 43s in a game, I mean, literally, there are players that are shooting 43s themselves. They just kind of like keep doing that motion in their sleep. And all of a sudden, they just like, hit their girlfriend that's sleeping next to them. It's like, I didn't mean to do that, honey. I was just shooting another 3. Yeah. Choose your boyfriends carefully, ladies. Not the ones that are shooting 43-pointers per game. All right. One wish for the holiday season. And this is shooting for the moon. If anybody out there I'd take a month worth of steak. Like my parents asked, you hear of all-clad cookware? It's manufactured close to where my parents live in Pittsburgh. And they said, there's an all-clad sale. Who wants all-clad? I'm like, I got plenty of stuff to cook with. Go ahead and get me whatever it is. I should have asked them for a month's worth of prime-aged Wagyu beef.
Oh, now that's expensive, right?
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Had that.
Shoot for the moon.
Yeah, no, my shoot for the moon would be the biathlon. I've always wanted to, since I grew up shooting a gun, since I could sit in my dad's lap. But they ski and it's kind of cardio, but then they shoot the 22 long rifles at the targets, and then if you miss, you got to do the penalty loop. I was just entranced with that event since I've been a little kid. That would be what I wanted to do for sure. I don't even know how to ski, but that's
Well, maybe the shoot for the moon then would be learning how to ski. I don't know. I've never been skiing.
Yeah. I've
never been skiing. I think you and I need to go on like a skiing trip together sometimes. It would be an ugly thing. One of us would probably not make it back.
I don't know if they make skis big enough for me. I've been barefooting. When I was little, I got up and just barefoot, but I've never had skis that fit.
I'd pay money to watch you snowshoe.
Man, you want to talk about a concussion? I got on not a snowboard, but what is a wakeboard, and on the back of a boat, and tried to hop a wave and then hit my head on the water, bounced it back, and man, I didn't want to do it again.
I've heard too many, and seen too many nasty injuries coming from skiing, and then you add the shooting aspect into it. I never thought I was ever going to be James Bond. Were you, Matt?
You're like a Bond villain, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's how it seemed like. Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Halftime with Phil Elson and Blofeld here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. If you want to get on with us, 877-377-6963. All right, we'll be right back.
Frank Grove Furniture December tax-free Christmas sale. Frank Grove Furniture carries made-in-the-USA furniture, including Catnapper, Jackson, and Best Home Furnishings, just to name a few. Frank Grove Furniture also carries made-in-the-USA Speed Queen washers and dryers. And December is the month to buy. They have slashed their prices more than ever before and no sales tax. Frank Grove Furniture wants to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and celebrate our Savior, Jesus Christ. Frank Grove Furniture, best seats in the house, 405 4th Street, Farley.
This is Abby with Davis Floor Covering. Get your home or office looking its best for this football season with new flooring from Davis Floor Covering. Whether it's new carpet, hardwood flooring, ceramic, porcelain tile, or luxury vinyl planks, Davis Floor Covering can help you with all your flooring needs with brands such as Bow Floors and flooring supplies from Maupe. And let's get started on beautifying your office or home. We even do countertops. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Davis Floor Covering with 3 locations to serve you: Fort Smith, Springdale, and Tahlequah. Call 452-4808.
Resetting your password, unsubscribing from emails, printing anything. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with an auto owner's insurance independent agent, getting the right coverage for your business doesn't have to be one of them, so you can get back to more important things, like learning how that printer works. That's simple human sense.
Visit the Charles Osborne Agency in Greenwood or call them at 996-2129. What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon will be in the low to mid 60s. We will see clouds, showers, a chance of some storms tonight. Overnight lows will be in the upper 40s north, mid 50s south. Chance of seeing some showers, a few isolated thunderstorms on Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The Hit That Line podcast network is now available on Pandora Music and Podcasts. Just open your app or browser and search Hit That Line.
It's fast,
It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You know, they're pretty accurate with the punctual is the word I'm looking for with the kickoff times of these soccer matches.
I won't say my bad joke again, but yes, they are. That's one of the things I like about it.
One of the things I like about most athletics events start at the time that they tell you they're going to start. It was the Oral Roberts women's basketball game, which would have been Sunday. One of the referees of that game was also one of the officials when the Hogs opened up the season at UAPB with the game that started 18 minutes late. Remember, he was one of the guys that came over to me at halftime, and I'm on the other end of the floor from the scores table, and he looks at me and was like, so how late did this game start? So he came over to me before tip-off of the Oral Roberts game and asked if the clock worked at this building. I got a big kick out of that.
That's funny.
I didn't remember him at first, and I'm like, oh, that's right, you were in Pine Bluff. Don't worry,
That was
everything's
your
in
unique
working order.
experience. Yeah, that you might not see another game like that. That might be something to do that some of our listeners that have been there.
I would agree. And all the years I worked in minor league baseball, there might have been 10 out of the 3,000 games I was a part of that ever started on time. They'll tell you 7:05. They don't mean 7:05.
Yeah.
It's one thing I appreciate about all the games at Arkansas, the other SEC schools, when they tell you the game's going to start at 7, you know it's going to start at 7:02.
Right.
Always.
Right.
Yeah, we had people. I mean, the internet's going kind of nuts with this Bobby Petrino, Jimbo Fisher thing. That would be such an odd combination.
That would be sick, but it would be kind of weird enough. And I think is hostile is just the environment down there that if you don't win, you're gone. But I think Jimbo wants to make a move to keep his job there and wants to stay there because it's kind of, not that it's not embarrassing. I mean, you get that amount of money, but it's kind of embarrassing. You kind of you're kind of here to be the coach and to take us to that next level, and you really kind of just Amber Hearded the bed real quick, and now what are we going to do?
Is that a term now?
We go Amber Heard on somebody?
We know what you mean. I think I know what you mean. 877-377-6963. So then what would it mean to go all Sudeikis on somebody? Serve them with papers when they're getting an award?
That was cold-blooded right there.
Pretty much. That was not a Ted Lasso thing. That was a Led Tasso thing. Rod's on 40. He's called us here. How's the truck running today, Rod?
Yeah, really scratching my head this season about moves like Barry Odom to Vegas and Hugh Freeze to Auburn, for Christ's sakes. I guess once he puts on the red light, he'll be fine down there. But, Bobby Petrino in the same room with Jimbo Fisher trying to coach the same team, the egos are going to be so large. There's going to be no room for the team, for God's sake. Can you really picture that? I mean, College Station, if you've been there, is a weird, weird place. Anyway,
I've spent plenty of time there. Yes, it is an odd place.
I think they both might be in stages of their career where they might be able to, like 10 years ago, no, there's no way they could handle this. But I think Petrino wants to get back into that level, and then Jimbo wants to prove that he can still win at that level. And Why not add an offensive genius? I mean, he is, whatever you think of Petrino, he's an offensive genius.
Here's the difference, though, is that he's a control freak.
They both kind of are, though. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of head coaches are, but I don't think Sam Pittman is. He lets his assistants do their thing. It sounds to me, when Petrino ran the Arkansas football program, he had an iron fist on everything. I mean, everything, like the way it was marketed, the way the radio show operated, everything. So, I don't know, maybe it's just an admission that he wasn't going to end up with another head coaching job in Power 5 unless he did something like this.
Well, and
again, it's all hearsay. These are
right.
Sources. He hasn't become the A&M offensive coordinator. Just the same thing like Dowell Loggins is not the South Carolina offensive coordinator yet either, though I believe that will happen before I believe Jimbo hiring Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, and then that being said, I think a lot of these teams are getting better. Arkansas needs to get better.
Rod, that was your turn.
Okay.
I don't know if you're still there.
Oh, sorry.
No,
yeah,
you're okay.
I would love to hear what Sterling from Center Ridge has to say on the evaluation of this coupling. Somebody like that. I'm just a truck driver. I mean, what do I know? But for God's sakes, I just have a hard time figuring out that who's going to run the team. It's just how Petrino is. He is, but he knows he's great. Really.
Yeah. And Jimbo believes in himself and talks at 3 million words per minute, and it just, again, it's an odd sort of a tandem, but desperation sometimes brings some very interesting people together, and I think it's safe to say at this point that Jimbo Fisher is probably a little bit desperate and might need to be. Rod, we appreciate your phone call. It's always good to hear from you, Rod. Be safe out there. Maybe what Sterling thinks about this. Bubba in Boonville is called halftime. Hey, Bubba, what's up?
Hey guys, how's it going? Actually, Phil, you just answered, had a couple of things. You answered one about Dow Loggins, and maybe I didn't hear Matt correct. I thought I was in a panic. I thought Dow was, it was official that he was leaving, and I don't want to lose him. He's a heck of a recruiter. And two, I wanted to wish my home school, the Boonville Bearcats, good luck tomorrow, state championship game. But anyway, that was basically my question. I thought it was official that Dow was going to South Carolina. Kind of scared me there a little bit. Anyway, I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Well, it's not official. He has not signed a contract.
It's probably his if he wants it. If with that much smoke out there, I mean, it's. I don't think that they're. Well, why would we put out this screen for him to be going somewhere else? I don't think I don't think they're trying to divert your attention somewhere else and then trying to pull one over fast on you. I think really he probably will go there or he'll stay here at Arkansas.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's any sort of like an agent placed story,
like the Kiffin thing going to Ole Miss. Yes, I mean to Auburn. I'm sorry.
I just trying to picture Bobby Petrino, a martinet, a joyless human being, and I'm going a little bit far with this in some ways, but a joyless human being, sitting there listening. Like maybe you'd write in your contract, have it written in your contract, I only have to listen to 50,000 words a day from Jimbo Fisher, because otherwise you got like another 950,000 that he'll speak in a 10-minute stretch. It's such an odd combo. But hey, if it works, like you never know with the way that you call them alphas. I might just call them a little bit different. You never know with some of these personalities how they mesh. And the idea that, I mean, look, you can't say anything about Bobby Petrino that doesn't include offensive genius, right? I mean, it would kind of be scary to have him in the same division, figuring out how to beat your offense. I mean, just look what happened with Missouri State against the Razorbacks this last year. That had Petrino's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, you could tell. I kind of put him like in that Mike Leach category, kind of weird, kind of concentric a little bit. I mean, I guess Mike Leach is more like that. But you know who the offensive coordinator is at Mississippi State. It's Mike Leach.
It's the same thing at A&M. I mean, you know who the OC is at A&M. It's Jimbo Fisher, but maybe not any longer.
Not if he comes in, but maybe that's – I mean, who else are you going to bring in then? Kendall Bryant, like I'm saying, you bring a young kid in to be the OC. He's not really going to be the OC. So you're looking around at all the places in college football to get somebody – he's not going to – his ability to trust him and put faith in him, I don't think he has it unless it's somebody who's proven that like I saw where Jason Garrett is in line for the Stanford job. Like he's a guy that's proven to do that. So Bobby Petrino, you have to give him the reins if he's coming in. It's like, man, this is your offense. The head coach still always has right of first refusal, like I always say. Like the head coach gets to decide whatever goes on, though.
It'll be an interesting move for him to go to Stanford. He's never been a college coach, right? I don't think so.
The college game is so weird now. It's almost like you'd want to be into the high school level with the recruiting. And you look at David Shaw. He couldn't win his last 2 years. Things got weird. Stanford, they just seem more of an academic school. They don't seem more of this what we're doing in Auburn or Ole Miss or A&M. They seem a little different. Like maybe they're not ready to join in and compete that way. And so I just don't think they had the talent in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they've had successful teams, plenty of them. I mean, they were pretty good under Harbaugh, and Shaw had it going for a little bit. But maybe NIL changes things a little for a school like that. Anything happen in these first 10 minutes?
Well,
Netherlands, Argentina?
No, they're just kind of feeling each other out a little bit. Argentina's had the ball in their half more often than the Netherlands have, but it's they're just filling it out right now.
So continuing on the thought about assistant coaches, you are looking for a defensive coordinator at Arkansas. And, I mean, again, rumors, sources, this and that. We're not the ones that are in on these rumors, and we're not the sources. And I don't view myself on this show as a journalist. But when you read the reports about some of the possible candidates, Trey Scott is an interesting candidate. He's the defensive line coach at Georgia. We had people text in a couple days ago pointing out, and this is a legitimate thought and a legitimate criticism, that he's never called plays before. He's never had to call defenses in the SEC. But that doesn't mean he can't do it. You just don't have anything to go off of in that sense. He's a native of Arkansas, and I mean, is there another position group in the country over these last 3 years that have been any better than the Georgia defensive line?
That being said, you're not going to be able to run the same defense, Georgia.
Right.
You don't have the same
You don't
players.
have the same athletes.
Yeah, but that being around that and that pedigree, I like it, and you got to start somewhere. And my question to you or to any of the listeners is like, your D coordinator, the last one we had was the safeties coach. What do you want your D coordinator? Like, do you want your offensive coordinator to be a running backs coach, offensive line coach?
What does he specialize in?
What is his specialty in? And do you think – I think the D-line might be our best bet to have a special – because we got to have a strong D-line if we're going to compete in the SEC.
Man, I mean, you make a really, really strong point there. Wouldn't it be something like your head coach was an offensive line coach? Your defensive coordinator, if it is Scott, was a defensive line coach. And then let's say Bryles sticks around and he specializes with quarterbacks.
Right.
It's pretty good stuff there.
That's kind of how you want it.
Where they're specializing. So, and the other aspect about this is, do you have to have had a track record of calling plays defensively to be a defensive coordinator in the Southeastern Conference? And I forget who texted in about this a couple of days ago, and he made a valid point, because I tried to point out Sam Pittman, had never been a head coach before joining Arkansas. Shane Beamer, same thing. Beamer didn't have all that experience that Pittman had. He had plenty of experience, but not the same amount of years as an associate head coach and everything like that. But when you're around a program, when you're around the game, as long as Sam was, you got to have your own ideas as to how things operate and, how you would go about hiring people. He's not calling the plays. But for a defensive line coach like Scott, and they're working with co-defensive coordinators at Georgia, you've been learning some pretty good coordinators.
Last 4 years there, and I guess Dion took one. I think
he took one from Alabama.
From Alabama, I'm sorry. That's an interesting point. Do you want a D coordinator that was maybe at Toledo or Kent State or a directional school, or do you want a position coach that's at a Power 5 school? And it is his first time, or because then he hasn't been able to call that. But if you are at a smaller school, even if it's Arkansas State, you've been the one calling the plays. So this will be his first time at a high level calling his defensive plays.
And to step away from the play calling idea, you got to be able to recruit at a high level. They like to recruit Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Smith is recruiting Georgia at a really high level. I would think Trey Scott, being there 4 years at Georgia, knows that state incredibly well and knows Arkansas well. So that's two areas where you'd need to be able to recruit, and maybe Scott's the guy to be able to pull that off. 877-377-6963 on halftime. The home stretch is coming up, and we will be right back.
What you gonna do when you get out of jail? I'm gonna have some fun. What do you consider fun?
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Well, Tommy, I'm starting to catch on to some of this wisdom from you, man. I'm taking it.
Oh, man. Charlie's giving me some praises and his cell phone's breaking up.
What was he saying?
Something about how smart and good looking I was. And I sounded taller on the radio. Something along those lines, I think, is exactly what Charlie was trying to tell the world.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
The price of everything seems to be going up these days, but not with Dish from World of Wireless. Lock in your price for 3 years. Plans start at under $80 a month.
Yeah, get all your local channels, get your ESPNs for $79.99 a month. That's a top 120 package. That's America's top 120 with Dish. So you got to call us at 877-305-DISH or go to our website, shopwownow.com, and we'll reply to you and we'll give you a call back. We can install you this weekend, but you got to call us. And we'll throw in a $100 Visa gift card when you sign up for new service.
Plus, you get the voice-activated remotes, which are easy and simple to use and make it, almost hands-free to find your favorite programs.
That's right. No matter where you are, we can get you hooked up on internet if you need it to make the voice-activated remote work. Go to our website, wowfastinternet.com, rural areas south and east of Fort Smith for high-speed internet to make your hopper work with the voice remote.
877-305-DISH is the number. That's 877-305-3474 for World of Wireless.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Looking for a new ATV? Then you sure don't want to miss the 1+1 sale going on at Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland. Buy a new 2022 CF Moto during their 1+1 ATV sales event and receive a free 2-year warranty that includes a 1-year factory and 1-year CF Moto Care extended protection. See Auto Finders and Adventure Oklahoma in Roland, or view a complete list of inventories online at AutoFindersOK.com, where your search ends and adventure begins. Offer does not include Gen 2 C-Force 400 and 500 models.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Touch me, turn me on, and burn me down. I'll desire and give a kiss like the devil's fire. Your kind of love could burn a town. Oh, touch me, turn me on, and burn me down.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Touch me, turn me on, and burn me down.
Let the travel begin. We had a crazy month of travel pretty much starting up. I would have liked to go to the game tomorrow in Tulsa, but I'm going to hang out instead. Watch it on television and then start the travel next week. Women's basketball, man, I like going to Omaha. We was just there in June, but I haven't been to Omaha for basketball since like 2005 or 6. Arkansas Creighton women's basketball next Saturday. The team then flies right from Omaha to San Diego on a charter. We're staying in the Gaslamp District. That could get a little scratchy. I'm not saying for the team, but for the older adults. Gaslamp District is the place to be in San Diego, right there by the marina. Lots of fun. I got friends in L.A. Maybe I'll go visit Aaron Torres. We've actually never met face to face. After all, I've known him like 9 years now.
Have you been to San Diego before?
Yes, been a minute.
Yeah, I've been to L.A. that far out west. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I didn't know if San Diego or San Francisco, which would be the spot. But you
San Diego is Los Angeles' much cooler younger cousin.
Is it just like 45 minutes south or 3 hours?
3 hours.
Yeah, okay.
It's not bad. Okay. I mean, if you can deal with the traffic, it's okay. But it's a really a fun place to go. San Francisco is a little farther away. I wouldn't say San Francisco is the, cooler younger cousin of Los Angeles. It's more like the cousin that hasn't gotten his life together yet.
I was gonna say there's a lot of homeless people there. It's like a lot of like haves and then have-nots,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
I think it has pretty heavy extreme. You say the same about Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's like the last time I spent a year in California before moving to Arkansas. I lived in California for almost all of 2000. I loved going to San Francisco. San Diego is great. Sacramento is kind of cool too. The Central Valley, is what it is. It's not the most exciting place. Los Angeles, I don't know. I had like a bit of it felt like evil a little. You know what I mean? Just like the vibe I got from the town.
A little
just
fake.
Wasn't a happy place.
Yeah, I could see that.
People were wearing almost nothing but black maybe that was the style then. Not like I know style, but wasn't the happiest place on earth. But I would have loved to go to Tulsa tomorrow. That's like one of my hometowns, even though I've never lived there. I think of all the places that I've lived. Grew up in Pittsburgh. I've lived in Little Rock for like 19 of the 22 years I've been in Arkansas. Fayetteville counts as a hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there so often, lived there for a little bit too. But outside of those three places, I think I've spent more time in Tulsa than any of the other cities. Travelers played there the Travelers used to play the Drillers 32 times a year.
Their matchup, yeah.
They played a month's worth. You spent like a month's worth there every other year. So, hey, the BOK Center downtown's where to be in Tulsa. Lots of places to go. So, yeah, get there tonight. Go get there tonight and enjoy yourself because tomorrow's kind of wake up and quickly get over to the arena.
It's early tip-off, yeah, noon, yeah.
12 noon. And then later in the month, Memphis, which I've always enjoyed Memphis. I mean, I know there's plenty of people that texted in that they wouldn't want to go there for whatever reason. I've been there for basketball. I've been there to fly out. Been there because it's Memphis.
One of my favorite airports is Memphis. It's easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is an easy airport. I flew there. It's not, when I live in Little Rock and that's 2 hours away, you can use Memphis as an airport to fly out.
And I'll use Tulsa some and Fort Smith, like the same concept, yeah.
It's nice to have the two cities that are kind of right across the border from Arkansas that you go to for basketball this month and for football this month as well. It's pretty good. We're going to cut up a couple of texts to get in here. Calvert wants an update on Jalen Catalon's recovery. I don't have one for you. So nobody has said much about the situation with Catalan, and I guess I think Coach Pittman said that I thought we'd hear something from Catalan the day after the Missouri game, which we never have.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about
nothing
Catalan
like if he's training, if he's rehabbing, if he's going to enter the draft, if he's going to play in one of these bowl games or like a Senior Bowl or East-West Shrine game. Because talent-wise, Phil, he's a guy that can play on Sundays. And we say that when we look at the defensive. He was a big miss. But health reasons why, I don't know where you draft him. And so do you come back and prove that you can be healthy? Or does what's his train of thought is, do I come back, try to be healthy and prove it? Or do I know I'm good enough, and as long as I get into camp, I know I'm going to make somebody's roster?
Either way, it feels risky, either way, because if you go to the draft,
no team's going to draft
they're
him.
not going to draft him,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't say going to the draft. If you declare, you're going to be a free agent.
Yep.
And then
he will get picked up as an opportunity that way. Yes, sir.
But there's no bonus money.
Right.
There's no contract.
But if you come back to Arkansas and stay healthy and light it up, be all SEC, then you're back to exactly right.
So no wonder we haven't heard from him. And there's a lot to kick around. And the other aspect of this too is this, there really isn't a rush. I think there's a spot for him if he wants it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's no rush at all in this.
He was down there I got to talk with him last year just for a little bit, and he talked about a kid that has a good head on his shoulders. The thing though, Phil, that I wonder, and you see this with players all the time. You don't see it as much in college, but when players get hurt and then they get hurt and they're not playing, man, they retire. It's mentally hard on you when you're not getting to play and you're good enough, but then you just feel like you never kind of get back, because then every time you get to going, you get hurt again and you're out for 9 months.
I always worry about shoulders.
For safeties, yes, sir.
For pitchers, for
Yep.
safeties, for quarterbacks. You know that better than most other people, man. The shoulder is something that's pretty difficult to rebuild and still have the right range of motion to do what you need to do. Different from elbows. You can reconstruct the elbow, and sometimes it bounces back a little stronger.
Is it more soft tissue in the elbow? Is that more tendon, or what do you think that is?
I don't know how to answer that, really. I don't know. I think it's a different – isn't the shoulder like a socket?
That's
a little different from the elbow with the ligaments. So, but I just know from watching pitchers that try to come back from shoulder injuries, and they're really never quite the same. With elbow injuries, sometimes they come back and they throw harder. To the point where I hope this isn't still happening, but there were kids that were in their teenage years that were just having the elbow
Tommy John surgery.
They were just having the ligament replacement surgery because they didn't have it broken. It wasn't like snap. They just figured, it's going to happen somewhere down the road, so let's take care of it now. I never heard of anybody doing that with a shoulder. Yeah, I hated that whole idea. Let's put Johnny under the knife because we know sooner or later he's going to have to go under the knife. Maybe, just maybe, these kids weren't taught how to pitch properly. I don't know.
That's the old adage, and I was lucky enough that my parents both being teachers and my dad being a coach, but there wasn't you weren't throwing a curveball when you were 11 years old. You weren't throwing a curveball at 12. You were always warming up. You were always kind of doing the right thing. So I think that's right. How are these kids taught? Do they just show up and just start slinging it right away, or do they do the long toss and do the stretching and do all the things?
A lot of it are the mechanics that you're taught with, and such an emphasis on throwing the hell out of the ball. Throwing as hard as he possibly can. I think that might have a little bit more to do with some of these injuries than just someone throwing a curveball.
Well, and like I was talking about David Watkins, the Arkansas pitching coach in high school, and one of the things, and I learned this in football as well, going up to camps and from my father as well. But when you're throwing, a lot of us when we're younger and we think about it, we think it's all arm. It's all arm. But
Nope.
if you want to throw faster and be better, it starts with your lower half of your body. And I didn't learn that until I was in 9th, 10th, 11th grade. And so some of these kids might not know it then, but that's how you hurt yourself.
Paul in Fort Smith is a therapist. He says that the elbow is the most mobile. I'm guessing you're a physical therapist because you just said therapist. And I know there's a lot of other kinds of therapists. And, hey, some pitchers need the mental therapist, too.
We got Therapist Monday. We can call it Therapy Monday.
That
yeah.
sounds good. It says that the therapist, the rehab's longer and has more precautions for the shoulder, and the elbow is the most mobile joint in the body. Paul, I'm going to have to introduce you to Well, I was going to say my middle finger. I didn't mean that. I meant any of my fingers. I don't think you're aware of this, Matt. I might be the bendiest person that you know.
Be a piano player, huh?
Watch what happens with this
I don't want to watch
finger
that.
here.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
Look at this
I don't
pinky
wanna watch
finger.
that.
For those who are watching on YouTube, I could take the pinky finger and bend it all the way.
Something bad might happen, man.
No, nothing bad's going to happen.
All right,
Just
all
bend
right.
it all the way to the back of my hand. My fingers are the most mobile part of my body. Outside of my voice,
I'm so cringeworthy like that if we're watching TV and you see somebody twist an ankle or twist a knee or anything like Brazil's. I've never went online to look it up. Like I don't want to see it again. Like when I see it once, I don't need to see the replay 18 times. You know, when you, especially in football, when you see somebody get hurt, it's like they show it 27 times.
I know we get 50 different angles of every shot on goal.
Can't
World
see
Cup
if that's
match.
a first down though. We don't have the camera on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, go figure as far as that goes. Yeah, I'm double jointed. Used to be able to bend every one of these fingers back to my hand at the same time.
Wow.
It's no wonder I never had a girlfriend until I was like 20 years old. 877-377-6963. There are 3 days left to enter the free renter mortgage sweepstakes for a year. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Matt Fowler at USA Mortgage and Mountain Home, we are giving away free renter mortgage for a year up to $15,000 in your pocket. All you got to do is go to hitthatline.com. You see a $15,000 sweepstakes button at the top of the page. Click it, enter your info, and it is that simple. You can win free rent or mortgage for a year. You got to enter through December the 12th, 15 GER. And it's brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Matt Fowler at USA Mortgage and Mountain Home, and ESPN Arkansas. Officially into the home stretch of halftime. Phone calls and texts at 877-377-6.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Nothing runs like a deer because nothing's built like one.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Yeah, the weekend. We are in the home stretch officially. It is now Saturday. So pop open an ice cold Lark. Infused with the right balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD, Lark is a full-spectrum seltzer made by Washita Farms right here in our very lovely state. Lark comes in 4 refreshing flavors like strawberry guava, mango, grapefruit, and berry. It's free of any of the bad stuff. There's no sugar, no alcohol, no carbs, no calories. Works as a mixer. It's good by itself as well. Lark's available at your local adult beverage store. You can have it shipped to your doorstep. To do that, go to larkhemp.com. But you got to be 21 years of age or older. Speaking of the weekend, Arkansas and Oklahoma, not the only game in SEC basketball. Kentucky's at home hosting Yale. LSU is in the Holiday Hoops Giving at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, taking on Wake Forest. Valparaiso at Ole Miss. Auburn is also in that deal in Atlanta. They'll play Memphis. That's an interesting game. Alabama and Houston. Number 8, Crimson Tide. Number 1, Houston. That might be the best game of the weekend. 2 o'clock ABC. Kansas and Missouri in a border war ball game. Somebody had told me last night at the women's basketball game at Bud Walton Arena that Arkansas opens up the SEC season on the same night that the Liberty Bowl is played, which also is the Texas Bowl at night. you do wonder about this too. It's like I think every SEC men's team, if not every one of them, then a chunk of them plays Wednesday night, and then some of them would play Thursday. But why are we scheduling 2 SEC affiliated bowl games the same time that the SEC basketball schedule opens up? You know, I mean, we asked earlier, and I think there are some fans, someone called in earlier, they're already on the basketball season. But you watch the Liberty Bowl. I have a feeling, though, that if you were choosing where you're going to go, it would be, as far as that caller was concerned, it would be the basketball game. But somebody told me the reason, I think Brett Dolan told me this, he thought the reason why, and again, I still don't believe that Missouri got a Liberty Bowl invitation and turned it down, but he said they host Kentucky that night. And, a big deal for Kentucky, anywhere they go, they're going to sell out. I don't know how often Mizzou Arena is going to sell out. But they would rather have not played in a bowl game that day, so they turned it down.
Yeah, I don't, man. I'd play in whenever you can, but I get it as the if you're a fan of all the Razorback athletics. But I'm with you. I would be going to the basketball game. Not only is it inside, but this team and something. I know we lost one of our electric players in Trevin Brazil. That was must-watch. He was one of the reasons why I said it was must-watch TV, because you didn't know what he's going to do. We still have Nick Smith, Ricky Council Jr., Anthony Black. We still got other guys. So I still think there's going to be electricity in the air, and they're going to be showtiming at least once every game.
We got a little bit of time for phone calls, texts on halftime, 877-377-6963. Woods in Bentonville has called us. Hi, Woods. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great. We're almost done for the day. We are done for the day. We're just putting in a little extra time.
I was just listening to you guys on my way back home from – I actually heard you. I just spent 10 days in L.A., so
congratulations for making it out alive.
Well, it's not easy, I could tell you that. I was supposed to be there for work last week, and I flew my wife out there for the weekend for Thanksgiving, and then I was supposed to be back for work there this week. So I just figured, why come home? So, Matt, probably going through LAX, it's not fun.
I caught the early flight home. Then you walk, yeah.
Yeah. So, the only thing I was thinking was, is Council or Smith or Walsh, I mean, who's going to have to pick up like 25% of the production to be able to lift this team through it? And also, Matt, I was going to ask you, since you play basketball, I mean, how easy is it to get a foul when you attack the rim?
That's a good point, and yeah, the more aggressive you are, and I think that's one thing that this team is really going to do well in, is attacking the rim and getting to the free throw line, and that's just because kind of our 3-point shot isn't the best. I'm a Jordan Walsh fan. Don't get me wrong. I love that kid. I think he's going to be good. He's going to be even better next year. But it's hard, man. It's hard to get freshmen to it's just a different level. And like we were talking earlier, when they played Texas, the game we didn't get to see, but they got blown out. Texas has seniors and upperclassmen that are playing a lot of valuable minutes, and it's tough. You're just not as strong when you're a 17, 18-year-old kid than when you're a 23-year-old man.
There's also, and I think Jordan Walsh is amazingly athletic.
Yes, he is.
But there's an unrefined quality to him, and it's like you would look at Nick Smith looks refined. I mean, it's crazy to think of a freshman that does look as smooth and liquid as he does.
And maybe he is a little out of position this year, where if you put him closer to the rim and you put him at the 4 spot, he's not going to be on that perimeter as much. And we do have the guards that maybe allow him to play the 4.
I think it's interesting that you said next year for Walsh, because I wonder if that's a possibility. The NBA is different, I think, than a lot of the other leagues that draft out of college. You know, they're going off of projections, literally projections. That's one reason why AT asked us earlier, did Brazil show enough in 8 games? He might have. It's just a matter of, I mean, this injury, an ACL, I mean, that's a year. Like at the minimum, it's 10 months, I would think. So he's not going to be ready to play for anybody at the start of next NBA season, you know, or really be available for camp in a way. Like, So that's like the calendar is another aspect of it. So.
Well, and putting pressure on your body when you're banging at that height, he's going to be banging people that are like, think about him going up against Andre Drummond. There ain't no way. Boogie Cousins. You're looking at some of these bigs in the NBA right now. The Jokic from Denver. 0% chance Brazil's ready. Brazil needs another 2 years or so, especially after that injury. But he talent-wise, on potential-wise, would he be drafted this year? You know what? He might be, just because he can be. You can't coach 6'11". I mean, you can't teach it like you can coach it. You're either that big or you're not.
For Trevor in Brazil, protein shakes, steak at every meal, and watch next year, whatever it is he's doing. He's going to have a little bit of a different look on his body. I would imagine he's going to be bulked up. And Woods, as far as who needs to increase their production. I just don't imagine Nick Smith is going to be averaging a little under 13 points a game for very long.
It's that game shape we talk about. Mm-hmm. He's getting back into it.
I think Smith. Everybody will. Just a little extra production. Ricky Council, a little extra. Anthony Black, a little extra. Smith, more than just a little extra, because I think it's there for him. And then the aforementioned. Look, notice there, we didn't mention any forwards amongst those guys, and that's with the position Brazil plays. And then you add in extra minutes potentially for a Jalen Graham, more minutes for a Mekhi Mitchell. That's one thing when you look at Mekhi Mitchell, he got the starts, but Brazil got the starters' minutes. 27 minutes a game for Brazil. Mekhi Mitchell starting all 9 games, 19 minutes per game. His minutes will go up too. So, and we'll find out, part of the answer, Woods, we'll certainly be finding out tomorrow. And we appreciate your phone call. Thank you very much. Sounded like Woods was ready to get out of L.A. with his hair on fire. Was it not L.A. is an exciting place. It's a very exciting place. There's so much going on there. It's great for a sports fan. It's just
the first time I went to Staples Center and you go underneath, to get out, because I'm thinking New York or something going to Madison Square Garden, and then you're in L.A. and you're going underneath it. So it's definitely different.
Been to some games at Dodger Stadium. Love the place. Maybe the most perfect ballpark around. But as far as L.A., it's a place I'd go in and out pretty quickly. I don't think I'd ever look to live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And again, the Dodgers could make a phone call and say, hey, we got a seat for you in the booth. Where do I sign up? I love L.A.
What door do you want me to walk out of?
You know that song, I Love L.A. I promise I won't sing anymore in halftime. But we will wrap things up after this.
Ho, ho, ho! Who's your Santa, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and I'm tired of bad secret Santa gifts. So this year, I'm everyone's not-so-secret Santa. Bring me your old ride, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value. That's a whole lot more for your trade. So this season, don't exchange gifts. Exchange your old ride for something nicer and newer from our huge selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, and you could get up to $4,000 more than it's worth. Keeping the car you have? Let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Plus, check out our inflation-beating Meineke vehicle service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They make great stocking stuffers. So let me be your not-so-secret Santa, and you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
For over 30 years, our Landry's New Orleans Cafe has been the River Valley's favorite seafood, Cajun, and steakhouse. Now serving the best game day trays to go, including crawfish etouffee, seafood pasta, bourbon street chicken, blackened catfish, and more. They also do catering, pickup, and delivery. Our Landry's New Orleans Cafe, 613 Garrison Street in downtown Fort Smith. Open Tuesday through Thursday from 5 to 8 and Friday and Saturday from 5 to 9. 783-2505.
Now booking Christmas parties. The Big Tent is up and filled with lots of Christmas gift savings at Jelco Outdoors. Hunting ground blinds, 20% off. Earth box blinds, $250 off. Fishing rods and reels, 20 to 50% off. Cowboy boots by Nakona, Tony Lama, Justin, Twisted X, and just arrived R. Watson boots, 25% off. And casual clothing, save up to 50% off. Don't miss the Big Tent sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local, shop Jelco Outdoors.
Building a home can be be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
With over 8,000 square feet of all the latest trends in lighting and plumbing fixtures, Great House Fixtures has all the brands you know and love, such as Visual Comfort Lighting and Delta Faucets. Their experienced staff can help you design and select the perfect fixtures for your uniquely you home, including sinks, tubs, faucets, custom showers, indoor and outdoor lighting, chandeliers, mirrors, hardware, and more. Make your house a great house. Learn more at greathousefixtures.com, located on 0th Street in Fort Smith. Great House Fixtures by J&B Supply.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to help feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Art's smoke or deep fry your turkey or smoke your ham. Art's has affordable packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop your turkey or ham off and Art's will take it from there. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, much more than their famous barbecue and burgers during the holiday season. From turkey to desserts, Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Buddy's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
It's a big job just getting by with 9 kids and a wife. But I've been working, man, dang near all my life, and I'll keep on working long as my 2 hands are fit to use. I'll drink my beer in a tavern, sing a little bit of these working man blues.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Got to react to a number I see here on an ESPN story about the baseball winter meetings. $1.6 billion. You heard that right, have been spent on contracts to free agents just for this winter meetings alone. You still have like another 2 months of the offseason to sign free agents, and that still includes Carlos Correa, who does not have a gig.
Is there any worry in baseball free agency, Phil, that these because we talked about it in this transfer portal with these college kids trying to get there first. Is there any? Do they do that in baseball, or they want the right fit? Is it all about, hey, let me get my money and get there first, so nobody else can get any?
A lot of times it's they have to. I think they still have to play 6 years. They have to have 6 years of service time before you go in. And so often you're like waiting for the big domino to fall before some of the other signings happen.
Yeah.
And it feels like that kind of happened in some ways with Jacob deGrom.
Like if it was Bryce Harper a few years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Judge, and then other pieces kind of filter in after that. Like the Giants signed Mitch Haniger to a deal after they lost out on Aaron Judge. The Padres signed Bogarts after they lost out on Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
What was another one I saw? A nearly former Razorback signed an 8-year, $162 million deal with the New York Mets. Brandon Nimmo, who was committed to play at Arkansas for the 2012 season, I believe it was. He was a first-round draft choice, and just like so many of them do, decided to go sign the contract with the Mets. And he's been really good. Good leadoff guy, great center fielder, and looks like he made the right move.
Good for him. Yeah.
$162 million is just a small chunk of the $1.6 billion spent on Major League Baseball free agency in the winter meetings alone, which are now over. and they are filtering out of San Diego. They used to be a lot of fun. I miss going to the baseball winter meetings. I was always there looking for jobs.
You think it would be – is it kind of like the Combine, going to the NFL Combine? And I know that's in Indianapolis, or I guess they're changing.
No, it's different because none of the players are working out for them.
It's all owners.
There is no – like there is an NBA Combine. There obviously is an NFL Combine. I don't know of one in Major League Baseball where they bring all of the top prospects together in one place. And what did Drew used to call them? The Underwear Olympics? That's what he called them. Sounds about right, doesn't it?
It sounds about right.
I guess the spring and the early summer baseball season is kind of the combine for Major League Baseball. There's too many players. Hey, don't forget the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is coming out shortly. Matty T's been working on that for a bit. Ruskin and Zach will be standing by to take it from 2 until 7. And you got a 12 o'clock tip tomorrow, Arkansas versus Oklahoma. It puts Chuck and Matt Zimmerman on the air at 11:30 in the morning. And then we'll be back next week. It's a short week for us on halftime. A very interesting early part of the week, too. I have a colonoscopy scheduled Tuesday at the age of 45. It's time to start doing this every 5 years. It's a morning procedure. I might be a little bit loopy for the Tuesday edition of Halftime. But
do they let you drive home? You
No. Someone's got. They didn't say you can't host a radio show, however.
We'll get through it. We'll be all right.
We'll see just how that goes. Then there are listeners right now that are saying, you know what, you're loopy every single day, so it won't be any different anyway. So hope everybody has a great weekend out there. And be safe. Headed out to Tulsa. And we're back with you on Monday to have a short week. That means Monday next week is like our Tuesday, since there's no show Friday on halftime.
Fair enough.
That's right. We get to be at the Pearson Broadcasting holiday shindigaroo in Springdale. All right. Have a great weekend, folks. Matty T, have a great weekend, too. Matt Jones, hope you as well. We still have the rest of the second half of this Argentina-Netherlands World Cup match to watch. So for Matt, I'm Phil. Have a great weekend. Get up, get out, and get better.
Wednesday, break my